Welcome to some new r/petty revenge stories, where people share stories of small victories over those that wronged them. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Petty Tom. Most of my neighbors are rude, unfriendly, won't wave, give dirty looks, bring their dogs to poop in our yard, etc. Overall, just not neighborly people. Especially when we've introduced ourselves when we moved in, offered help if they ever needed, gave help anytime we see they need it without being weird, etc. I've helped one neighbor with plumbing, so I gave him a press machine, fittings and the correct clamps needed and didn't ask for anything in return. I've loaned out tools to neighbors that don't have them. Carry garbage cans out and back in every week for a neighbor that can't walk well. We try to be good neighborly people and ask for nothing in return. We have lived in our house for about 3 years, have about 20 houses on our dead-end street and about 3 to 4 are decent people. I spent $15,000 on a brand new quad with a plow to clear the snow out of our driveway and our decent neighbors' driveways. I do it just to be able to go out when people are shoveling. And then I leave, without helping the jerks in the freezing cold. Call me Petty. Tom Petty. The next story is called Not For Sale. Development has been taking over my hometown. It's inevitable of course, as a lot of people from major cities further up north are moving down here. But it's sad at the same time, seeing the fields and forests I used to play in growing up being paved over and turned into condominiums and strip malls. It has also caused the cost of living to increase tremendously in an area where many people are already struggling to stay afloat. So, as you can imagine, my grandfather, an old stubborn Dutchman who moved here and lived on this property since the 50s, has something to say about it. The street my grandfather lives on used to be backed by a massive forest, but in recent years developers have bought all of the forest. 90% of it has been torn down, except for this one small, probably 2-acre chunk of forest in the middle of this open field where my grandfather refuses to sell his land. Of course, this is bringing the developers' plans to a halt, as they can't pave and build around this single chunk of forest. So all they can really do is wait for him to sell his land. He has been in conflict with these developers for over a year now. And from my understanding, they are offering a lot of money. Well, knowing my grandfather, for as long as he stands on this earth, absolutely no amount of money will convince him to sell that land. I know how frustrating this is for some people, specifically the developers who want nothing more than to throw up some cardboard houses and pocket close to a mill per. But I have decided that when my grandfather's time is up, I will continue his legacy and make sure that piece of land is never sold. That is my petty revenge. The last story is called Revenge on UPS. UPS smashed a nearly new MacBook that I sent with them. I asked them nicely to pay me back for it and they asked about, blaming me, blaming my packaging, saying it was impossible, they damaged it, etc. I was able to prove my packaging was flawless and get a statement from the Apple shop that I took it to say it was damage caused by it being dropped or thrown. I could also prove it worked when I sent it. They weren't interested and messed me about for weeks, sending me from pillar to post. They were even threatening to make me pay interest on customs charges, which I wasn't liable for as the laptop was smashed on arrival and thus worthless at import. I took it to small claims. They hired a lawyer who sent me letters saying they contested it and would go for full fees etc. if I lost. I went for it anyway. I did law stuff in university, so I knew the basics and I thought my case was pretty clear cut. I won. I won my costs back, plus extra, plus interest. They ignored the court order and did not pay. Now this laptop was originally being sent to my beloved mother-in-law. She asked me to help her with the problem, as UPS was also seriously harassing her for the customs fees. And very unexpectedly, before I could resolve it, she passed away. It was the last thing she ever asked me to do for her. Taking down UPS was now my personal vendetta. I researched my options. I could have taken the usual, more conservative legal routes to reclaim my money. But no, screw them. I don't care about the money anymore. I want revenge, I want drama, I want karmic justice. I went to the High Court. I got rid of control. I, of course, added on more fees and more interest. I then hired the most aggressive bailiff firm in London. I trusted that the jerky processes and attitude of UPS meant they would ignore the letters and actually get a visit. They did. The bailiffs broke up at UPS headquarters and explained the situation. UPS refused to pay, so the bailiffs start listing goods. Security tried to make them leave. The office manager tries to bully them out. Obviously, the bailiffs didn't care and they crack on with their jobs. I wasn't allowed the body cam footage, but they did send me a detailed report. The final conclusion is copied from it below. Calls were then made to the accounts manager, who arrived in a hurry. As no payment was forthcoming from them, the agent again explained the removal process and cost involved and called the office for approval to begin removals. The agent began to seize assets. The finance director then arrived on the scene. He was not at all happy about the attendance, but ultimately agreed to pay a voluntary payment in full from his personal account in order to stop the removal. I know it's a drop in the ocean to UPS, but I got more than double what I originally asked for to replace the laptop. They would have had to pay even more on top in fees to the bailiffs. I reckon it cost them at least 3 times more than the original claim in the end. But mostly, I just enjoy the mental image of the flustered finance director and his impotent rage, having to pay his own money to stop the heavies taking desktop computers and fancy plot plans and things out of their swanky head office lobby. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.